Oftentimes when we talk about hockey prospects or where they are right now, it's hard to judge them because they haven't really played a whole lot, like talking about guys like Jack Hughes and Alexis Lafreniere. It's tough to rank them because they haven't played a game. So what I thought I'd do today is I'm going to take a look at the 2009 Future Watch from Hockey News. I'm going to look at the top prospects from 2009 and see where they are now. We're going to go through the top 5, and then I have some notable players that are outside the top 5. There is 50 total, so I have some noted players from the top 50. But we're going to go ahead and look at the top 5 in depth, and that's going to be the video today, guys. And without further ado, let's get into it. So number 1 in the 2009 Future Watch was Nikita Filatov. Now, if you've been an NHL fan for a while like myself, I was a fan back in 2009, and I can't even say I remember Nikita Filatov. He played in 53 NHL games, split between Columbus and Ottawa. Last year he played in the KHL. He hasn't been in the KHL since 2011. He split games between Ufa and Moscow. It's tough to say that he deserves to be the number 1 because if you look at the stats and what he's done since the ranking, it's pretty obvious he hasn't. He hasn't been in the NHL since 2011. He only played less than 82 games in 4 seasons split between Columbus and Ottawa, and it's definitely a weird one. You look back on it and you go, number 1, I don't know what we saw in this guy. The most points he's ever had in a season on the hockey database page is 40, which was in 2017 in the KHL, and the closest to that was 32, which was in the AHL back in 2009, so definitely a weird one to look back on. Nikita Filatov, who was ranked number 1 in the 2009 Future Watch. So number 2 on the Future Watch from 2009 was Cody Hodgson. He was a 10th overall pick in 2008. In his NHL career, he played 328 games, he had 64 goals and 78 assists. He put in a lot of time with the AHL as well. He played in a lot of AHL games. In his NHL career, he spent time with Vancouver, Buffalo, and Nashville, so 3 different teams. And Cody Hodgson, he doesn't have any last year stats because he actually retired from professional hockey after the 2015-2016 season. Definitely one where, he had skill. He did have a 44-point season in the NHL, and he had 3 seasons where he had 30 or more points. But he kind of fell off the bus in 2014-2015 when he only had 13 points in a full season. I'm not sure if it was an injury or whatever that happened, but the next year he only had 39 games and 8 points. He was sent to the AHL, where he was doing pretty good, but he decided to hang him up. Cody Hodgson, I remember him as one of those guys where it was like, he could do something if he was given a chance, but he never really proved himself at the NHL level, that he was a capable, second, third line guy. Definitely a funny one to look back on. I hope he's doing well in his retirement, and he was number 2 on the Future Watch in 2009. Coming in at number 3, we have our first player who is actively still in the NHL, and it is not a player, it's actually a goalie. It's Jacob Markstrom. He was drafted 31st overall, the first pick in the second round by Florida in 2008. In the NHL, he's played for Florida, obviously. He was traded to Vancouver. He's been their starting goalie the last 2 seasons. He's played 60 in both seasons. His career stats: in 277 games played, he has 87 wins, 102 losses, 28 OT losses, and a 909 save percentage. So, could be better. The wins to losses, he did play on some pretty brutal teams, Vancouver a couple years back, and like last year and this year, obviously not the best non-playoff teams. And Florida, he hasn't played on a playoff NHL team yet. Last year, he went 28-23, 9 with a 912 save percentage. The league average, not too bad. He's not a bad goalie by any stretch, but a lot of people thought Jacob Markstrom was going to be a superstar. Ranking him number 3 in the Future Watch is pretty high credit, considering there are some other really good goalies on this list as well. We'll get to that in a moment, but definitely an interesting one. I don't think it's panned out so far being ranked number 3, but he's definitely not bad by any stretch. I'd say he's probably better than the first 2 for sure. And he could still do something. He's only 29, so we'll have to see what the future holds. But number 3 on the Future Watch was Jacob Markstrom. Coming in at number 4 on the Future Watch back in 2009 was Colin Wilson, and this is definitely another interesting one. Obviously still an active player. In the NHL, he's played 623 games, so that's a lot of games. He has 113 goals and 169 assists for 282 points, so not too bad for the point totals there. Last year, he played 65 games for the Avs and had 12 goals and 15 assists for 27 points. And right now in the playoffs, he was doing well before Colorado got eliminated. He had 8 points in 12 games. Wilson was drafted 7th overall by Nashville back in 2008. He was traded to Colorado at the beginning of the 17-18 season, and that's where he's been the last 2 years. So obviously another kind of weird one, Colin Wilson is by no stretch a bad player, but number 4 in the Future Watch is normally reserved for pretty good players, for all the top picks. So it's definitely an interesting one. The 7th overall pick, he didn't really pan out, but he has had some really good seasons in the NHL. Like I said, he's had a couple 30-point seasons, one 40-point season back in 2015. And a couple times he's played playoff hero. In 2015-16, he had 13 points in 14 games, and like I said, this year he had 8 points in 12 games. So he's upped his performance a couple times in the playoffs. But it's an interesting one. Colin Wilson being at number 4, I didn't expect that, but that's where he was. He was ranked number 4 on the 2009 Future Watch. So coming in at number 5 on the Future Watch was Alex Pietrangelo, who I think is undisputably the best player on this list. He was drafted 4th overall in 2008 by the Blues, in 688 NHL games for them. He's their captain, by the way. He has had 93 goals, 305 assists, and 398 points, just shy of 400. Last year was a bit of a down year for him, only 41 points, but obviously the Blues are tearing it up right now. In the 3rd round, they are playing tonight, I believe. It is a tied series 1-1. What a comeback for them. But back to Pietrangelo, he's had 3 50-point seasons over the course of his career. Every season except for 2, he's been a plus defenseman. He's very effective, he doesn't take a whole lot of penalties, and obviously a great player. Definitely deserving of the number 5 spot. Like I said previously, there are a lot of interesting players in the top 50. I'll be going over them next. But Alex Pietrangelo, a very good player, and probably the best player in the top 5 of the Future Watch from 2009. So for other notable players in the top 50, there are a lot of them. I'm going to go through them in order and give my pieces on a couple of them. So at number 6 was JVR, number 7 Erik Karlsson, number 8 Claude Giroux, number 9 Tyler Myers, number 10 Max Pacioretty, number 11 Tuukka Rask, number 12 Semyon Varlamov, number 14 Mikael Backlund, number 15 PK Subban, number 17 Jordan Eberle, number 26 Corey Schneider, number 27 John Carlson, number 29 Kevin Shattenkirk, number 33 Jamie Benn, 35 Brian Elliott, 37 Ryan McDonough, 40 was Jake Gardiner, 44 Lars Eller, 45 Jake Allen, and 48 Artem Anisimov. So obviously a host of great players here. JVR currently on Philly, a very good winger. Erik Karlsson, one of the best offensive defensemen in the league, one of the better D-men. Claude Giroux, a superstar, a franchise player in Philly. Tyler Myers is a pretty effective top 4 D-man for Winnipeg. Pacioretty killing it in Vegas right now. Tuukka Rask, I believe, has already set franchise records for Boston's goaltending. Varlamov, his contract's up this year. He'll probably be going to a new team with Grubauer as the starting goalie in Colorado. Backlund, a very effective player for Calgary, a great two-way forward. Subban, obviously one of the better defensemen in the league. Eberle, a great scorer for the Islanders. Schneider had a bit of a rough patch the last couple years, but I believe he can turn it around. He's still an effective goalie. John Carlson, another one of the best offensive defensemen playing with Ovi. He's an assist machine. Shattenkirk had a rough year with the Rangers this year, but definitely a great player. Jamie Benn, one of the better power forwards in the league. He's dominant. Love Jamie Benn. Brian Elliott, still a good goalie, still effective. I could still see him as a backup on a really good team or a starter if you need him. Ryan McDonough, another good defenseman. Tampa Bay, stacked decor they have there. Jake Gardiner, kind of the butt end of a lot of jokes for Toronto fans. You know, a lot of Toronto fans have kind of turned their backs on him, but still an effective defenseman. Wouldn't mind having him on my team. Lars Eller, great centerman for the Capitals, won the Cup with them last year. Jake Allen, he's kind of lost his starter spot to Jordan Binnington, but still an effective goalie. I think he could be used on another team if they decide to trade him. And Artem Anisimov, another good center, defensive center. Pretty good player, and that actually concludes the list. So, like I said, a lot of really good players in the top 50. The top 5 was pretty weak, but guys like Erik Karlsson at 7 and Claude Giroux at 8, like that's crazy. Those are top of the league guys right now. I'd argue they're in the top 20 in the league. A host of really good players: PK Subban, Tuukka Rask, Pacioretty, John Carlson, Jamie Benn down at 33. It's crazy that the Future Watch was so deep down low but so weak up top. But that is the 2009 Future Watch, kind of a review of it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It was really fun to look back at 2009. It was 10 years ago. Let me know if you want me to do any other reviews of Future Watches for different years. I could definitely look at it. I was thinking about doing 2014, but I wanted to do the 2009 one for 10 years ago, not the 5 years. I think it would be more interesting to dive deeper back, but I wouldn't be oppressed to doing anything else. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.